Good evening. I was going to make you guys a video to talk about some of the stuff that's going on the final exam, but I figured for this week I'll go ahead and hit some of the things that are due Thursday night just in case people are still having trouble. So I'm in lesson 19, which talks about hypothesis testing. So I took some examples, not the ones that I assigned for the final exam, but other examples from the lessons that we can look at, and I actually made a few. So let's go ahead and talk about them. All right, so I'm talking about hypothesis testing where you have a null and an alternative hypothesis. So the first one example I have is Americans have a mean paid vacation each week of 2 weeks. So the first thing I need to do is I need to find my null and I need to find then my alternative. So I know this is a mean, and I'm going to go up here and insert it from the symbols. I know this is a mean, and I also know that the null's a mean because it's talking about the average. So I know they're both means. All right, and it says Americans have a mean vacation time each week of 2 weeks. So because the equal sign always has to be in the null hypothesis, this would mean the mean equals 2 weeks. So the mathematical opposite of that is the mean does not equal 2 weeks. Okay. The important things to remember for this is there's 2 hypotheses. Okay. And also you need to remember the signs. Okay, and in the alternative, all it can be is less than, comma, greater than, comma, or not equal to. Okay, all right. So let's do another one. Let's do example 2, and let's do one about, let's see, the average commute, in Atlanta, be great if I could spell tonight, is greater than 45 minutes. All right. So again, for this, you scroll down. I need to, again, find my hypotheses. All right. So I have a null and I have an alternative. Okay. So because it tells me the average commute here, I know it's a mean, so I can go ahead and put those means in there. So there, I'm going to do mean there and then mean there. Okay. All right. But now I have a greater than scenario because it's saying it's greater than 45 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to answer my alternative hypothesis first. And I'm going to put the greater than sign in 45 minutes. I did that because they are stating the claim that it's greater than 45 minutes. And remember, in my alternative hypothesis, all I can have is less than, greater than, or not equals to. So then if I put that in, then for my null hypothesis, it has to be the mathematical opposite. So if you can't be greater, you can be less than, or you can be equal to. So I'm going to use this symbol up here that has the less than and the equal sign in it. And I'm going to put 45 minutes. If you notice, 45 minutes is in both parts of the hypotheses, in the null and the alternative. You never want to make your hypotheses with 2 different numbers. It always has to be the same. All right, and let's do a less than scenario. Okay, so example 3. All right, let's do the average time a student drives to a local college is less than, let's say, 30 minutes. Okay? All right. Again, I'm seeing that average in there, and that tells me that that is a mean. be careful when you look at these for less than 19 because you might see some other stuff. If I have a percentage, that goes with a P, not with a mean. So watch out for those, okay? So again, I'm going to make that null hypothesis, and I'm even going to go ahead and put that mean in there because, as you saw before, I have that average symbol in there. And then I'm going to go here and do my alternative. So it's going to put in right there. Okay. So then this one, okay, I know it's going to be less than. So I'm just going to go ahead and first do my alternative where it's less than, 30 minutes. Okay, because that's what they're testing and that's what you see. Let me bring that up. All right, so to solve for the null, I do the mathematical opposite. So if you can't be less than 30 minutes, you can be equal to or you can be greater than. So I'm going to go up here and do the greater than or equal symbol in the 30 minutes. Okay? That is the way that you do the hypotheses for this section. The error message, the type 1 and the type 2 error, all you really need to do is think about when you use those. So type 1 and type. Okay, and you need to remember the rules for those. And let me go grab those right fast so we can look at them again from this help guide. Okay. All right. Hopefully this will transfer over pretty good. All right, so what it is when you're looking at this for the type of errors, if you've rejected your null, but your null is really true, that's a type 1 error, and that's all you have to look for, okay? And the same thing is when you didn't reject the null and the null is false, that's a type 2 error. So I would basically think about it as you're looking at your null hypothesis. You rejected it, but it wasn't supposed to be rejected. That's a type 1. The other alternative is that you didn't reject it, but it really should be false. That's a type 2. So when you're going through and looking at those, the best thing to do is write out your hypotheses and then decide what kind of error it is. I hope this helped with lesson 19. Thanks so much for watching.